So it's no secret that TCGs have become this new speculative asset. You know, we live in a world where people are constantly trying to find the next big thing, trying to park their money, trying to beat inflation and so many interesting economic factors. But you know, I thought in today's video, we'd really take a look at the One Piece TCG and ask ourselves why we're doing this to begin with, what we're trying to do, and where we're trying to go in terms of making money, getting the cards we want, and playing it smart. So guys, if those things sound interesting to you, you're gonna wanna stick around because this is gonna be a really interesting video. We're gonna be looking at some interesting data today based on the stuff you're seeing on the screen right here. So it's gonna be a fun video. We're really gonna take a look at the future of the One Piece CG, and you're probably gonna walk away a little smarter too. So before we get into it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more great content. And real quick, a word from our sponsor. It's 2026, and I think it's time we start upgrading our internet browsers to something with a little more style. And Opera GX offers just that. Opera GX is an easy-to-use web browser that offers a new way to browse the internet in style. From mods to custom keyboard sounds, Opera GX offers users a wide range of customization that allows you to enjoy your time online instead of using a boring browser. Let's quickly take a look at the mod setup. To access GX mods, just open the browser, head over to the mods tab on the side, and you'll be met with a ton of different options to choose from. From effects to complete interface customization, you'll be able to put together your ultimate themed browser in no time. But if you're looking for a quick fix, click the easy setup option in the top right corner and you'll have a ton of different presets and themes to choose from. Opera GX also includes fun and useful features like split screen, making it easy to multitask while working or browsing. It also has a video pop-out option, allowing you to keep watching content while staying focused on other tasks. Plus, you can easily synchronize your data from other browsers on Opera GX so you can seamlessly pick up right where you left off. So if you're interested in trying Opera GX today, be sure to click the link down in the description below and start enjoying the internet with more style today. And of course, thank you Opera GX for being today's sponsor. Now, let's get into the video. So guys, before we get into it, I gotta ask the Union Arena folks, okay? Because I really made them mad a few weeks ago with that video, but did I cook? Did I cook? I don't know if I seriously don't know. I don't think I cooked at all. I saw there was somebody was selling this on Facebook. It was a Winter Tanjiro Union Arena card pre-release. I don't know. We have those obviously in the One Piece TCG, but I thought we'd take a look at that. Also, OP16 reveal, okay? We got this on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, at Treasure Theory, but we've got a reveal for OP16. Looks like a Marineford set, so that's interesting. Going back to OP02, now OP16, we're getting it again. Maybe we get a Whitebeard manga card? You heard it here first, folks. All right, so let's talk about investing. So guys, if you didn't know, the One Piece TCG is fairly new. This card game is roughly 3 years old. Very, very new. Compared to, say, Pokemon, Magic, and, I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is slowly becoming a very popular thing again, which is kind of great to see. But, because I was actually worried Yu-Gi-Oh! Was gonna crash. But, guys, the One Piece TCG has been this magical place where Bandai spawned the most incredible cards, the highest quality cards compared to any other card game, and, of course, the art themselves have just been fantastic. If you've played One Piece, it's really great. You know, it's like the show. It's like the characters. Like if you play a Sabo, you feel like you're actually Sabo. If you play Magellan or Luffy or whatever, a leader card, it's a really fun time. I really do recommend you play the card game if you haven't tried it. But even if you're more into the collecting and investing side, you need to understand that the card game itself has got a shine to it, which really makes it special. And the fact that it's a fun card game to play is also a great time. I was at one of my local card stores the other day, and I had this great talk with this guy. You know, I was telling him, I was like, man, you know, I find like when I come in here and I look at Pokemon cards, I cannot unsee the centering now, because Pokemon cards are so all over the place with their quality, and I can't unsee it. You know, I see a $500 Pokemon card and the centering's off. I don't even want to touch it. But One Piece cards are like near perfect. You look at most PSA cards, the majority of them are PSA 10s, because Bandai is just producing incredibly high quality cards, which is great for us, right? But regardless of, you know, Pokemon and One Piece and all that stuff, we need to realize, guys, we live in a world where money matters, right? And what you do with your money now will affect where you are in the future. It'll affect if you are richer. It'll affect if you're poorer. You know, you got to be smart with this sort of stuff. And of course, none of this is financial advice. But I just obviously want to focus on the One Piece TCG today because, guys, there's a lot of interesting things to talk about. Starting with what? Why do we invest in this stuff? Well, obviously, the One Piece IP is incredible. Ichiro Oda is a prolific writer. I mean, this guy is literally one of the top dogs in our time, okay? It's like being around to witness, I don't know, Shakespeare, Beethoven, whatever. You know, we are witnessing a living legend that's going to be passed down in history. I mean, this guy has created this beautiful, fantastic world, which is great because it means the IP itself is incredibly strong. Nobody thought One Piece could rival Pokemon because most people who weren't into One Piece didn't recognize the IP. They didn't realize how amazing it was, you know, how amazing the story is, how amazing the show is. And although it's got its issues, what doesn't have its issue, okay? The pacing's a problem, fair enough. Pokemon's all over the place. I mean, I grew up watching the original Pokemon. I don't even, what's happened to Ash? He's been like a 10-year-old boy forever, 11. I don't know how old he is. So much has changed. But One Piece has remained very consistent. Again, not trying to say anything towards Pokemon. I'm just, I'm a One Piece maxi, so bear with me. Okay, we know the IP is good, okay? It's on good grounds. That's something to understand. The next thing is understanding investing in general. Why do people invest? Well, it's not just because you want to make profit, okay? You also want to make sure you beat inflation, guys. Because if you didn't know this, every month, okay, inflation occurs on everything, okay? Whether it's 2%, 3%, 5%. We saw during the COVID times that a lot of prices went through the roof because supply chains were disrupted, a lot was going on, nobody was going to work, things were just slowing down. This affected the price of everything. And the thing is, once things have been inflated over time, they do not go back, okay? Let's take a look at this calculator here. Let's just compare what money used to be and what it is now. So what did $100 look like in 1914? Just bear with me for a second. So taking a look at this calculator here, I wanted to just kind of clarify something. So your money has buying power. And over the years, every single year, I should say, the buying power of your money, your dollar, starts to go down over time. So back in 1914, $100 was the equivalent of $2,750 today, okay? So basically, back then, your $100 had way more buying power than it does today. Now, I know there's a lot of things to this. It's not just that straightforward. But the insane thing about that is if we say, look at, $10,000 back then would be $275,000. That was like the equivalent. So the buying power was absolutely insane. But obviously over time through inflation, things have changed a lot over time here. We take a look at this graph, it's the CPI index. This is how they measure the price of goods and stuff like that every year. And even though this graph looks steady, it goes up and down, make no mistake, guys, the prices of goods have continuously gone up over time, meaning that your dollar has slowly become less and less valuable because that is what inflation does. So whether you hold on to $1,000 and sit on it for a couple of years, you stuff it in your mattress or whatever, technically every month that goes by, your money is going down. Your $1,000 is now only worth $990. It's now worth $800. It's now worth $600. And that obviously happens over the years, but that's why we invest to save our money. We're trying to protect ourselves from inflation, stuff like that. So I like to bring you to the S&P and stuff like this because this is a great example. So as the CPI, as stuff has, and please, if I'm losing you, I'll get to the point. So just looking at since like the 1990s with the S&P, this has steadily gone up as the economy has gone up and all that sort of stuff. But what a lot of people don't realize is that when your assets go up over time, your buying power still goes down. So technically when you invest, it's helping you stay rich or at least maintain your wealth. Otherwise, if you don't put your money in stuff, you're basically getting poorer and poorer by the day. Now, I advise you to actually look into this stuff a little more because it's very complicated and it's not so straightforward, but it sort of is because, guys, that's why people invest in the S&P, in real estate, in crypto, in TCGs, okay, in art. And that's why we need to recognize why we're here to begin with. It's not just because it's, the new popular trend. It's the fact that this is a new sector. Well, not new, but it's become this new speculative concept of, oh my God, what if you invest in this cardboard that people love and it will go up over time? I've been around for at least 2 years plus now with the One Piece TCG, and I felt bad blowing money on cards all the time, and the fact that my collection has just completely exploded, as I'm sure many of yours has just been proof that, putting your money in other things outside of, I guess, money, and obviously you got to be smart about it, but making sure you're putting your money in interesting things like say trading card games can really show that it pays off. It's speculative, right? So we don't actually know if it's going to go anywhere. This could all go to zero one day. But the point I'm trying to make is that, whether you pull a manga, an SP, whether you've just been buying singles, or maybe you've just been lucky over the few years, you know that buying One Piece cards, putting your money in this has most likely made you a little wealthier, okay? Which is just fundamental when it comes to understanding why people are investing money in here, okay? For the longest time, I felt like I was just wasting money. But obviously, my perspective has changed because I myself have grown up loving cards my whole life. I'm 31. I've been into cards since the first days of Yu-Gi-Oh, man, and Pokemon as well. I basically was born right before Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and One Piece all started. So I've been kind of here the whole time. And it's just amazing to see that these cards that we've grown up loving and playing have almost become this new idea, this new form of money, which a lot of people would argue kind of ruins it, but I think it gives us more freedom in a lot of ways. Because obviously, if you're the last one standing on the boat, okay, you're gonna be the one to sink with the ship. But when people were getting on board the ship, when we had no idea where this was going and really enjoying the views and seeing where this was taking us, a lot of people benefited from that. And the thing is that there will always be continuous benefit from trading card games. One Piece will not be the last trading card game that does well. Pokemon is making a return again. One Piece has got so many things coming its way. The live action's out now, which has been pretty great. A lot of people have mixed feelings, but, you gotta invest in something, guys. And I'm in no way, shape, or form suggesting you invest in cardboard. I'm not telling you to do it and you're gonna be rich. But if you were to allocate a small percentage of your money into, Pokemon or One Piece, I don't think it's the worst thing you could do, okay? And I'm, again, not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But even if you put 1% of your total net worth into the One Piece TCG, held on to a couple of cards, what's the harm? Especially sealed product, We've got so much sealed product that is becoming harder and harder to come by, and you know which ones I'm talking about. Obviously, Romance Dawn. This booster box has gone up 244% in 6 months. This was the second wave of the first box ever for the TCG. And we've seen, even though it's not the blue bottom, it is done quite well. And this is an example of protecting your wealth and making sure that your money gets put to good use. Because again, you could just hold on to your money. You could have held on to that $400 a year ago. But look how much it would have been now if you bought a couple, right? And even with Pokemon right now, I'm sure you see back there, I've got a couple of Ascended Heroes. I went to a couple of local card stores and I bought a few a little overpriced. I bought one of those for $130 Canadian, which is $100 US. Bought the other one for 90 Canadian, so kind of balanced itself out. But now apparently nobody can get their hands on those boxes, and it's already starting to go up because people just can't find the product. So scarcity is also consistently adding to the prices of these cards as well, which is why I think as long as Bandai doesn't just come out of the woodwork and say we're just going to reprint everything again, which I do not believe they're going to do. I just think that would just completely destroy everything. I think we're going to be fine. I really do. And, perhaps they come out with a new Ichiro Oda signed card, which I don't even think would devalue this card. Maybe it's another card that Oda drew, and, maybe he does that for the 4-year anniversary. Who knows? But guys, all I'm really trying to say is that we're living in a really fun time right now. And if you've never gotten into investing, if you're a young person who has a bit of money, who really doesn't care about the S&P, doesn't care about stocks, doesn't care about good luck with real estate, but gold and silver and all that, I really implore you to educate yourself a bit on money and really consider maybe getting a couple things from the One Piece TCG. Maybe even watching the show if you're not into it. It's a really great show, and I really can't imagine being into the One Piece TCG, getting involved, putting your money in here, and you have absolutely no idea what you're doing, okay? You gotta know this show. You gotta know this manga. You gotta know this story, okay? You have to be a true fan of what all this is. Otherwise, you're just gonna lose, right? Unless you've got some crazy insider information, you're just not gonna understand what people are after, okay? Taking a look at this Shanks right here, for the longest time, I didn't even really like this Shanks card. I was like, the OP09 Shanks looks way better. But the truth is, this is literally the first manga card ever from OP01. So that alone is just going to do well. Imagine owning a couple of these. and seeing the price exponentially go up over time, you know, has really just shown that this stuff does work. And look at this most recent sale, $7,000 for PSA 10, but still, that's crazy, man. So overall, guys, you know, all I'm trying to say is don't just follow the herd, okay? Like, if you're into the One Piece TCG, you're serious about collecting, you're serious about investing a little bit of money, you know, understand what is going on here. Don't just throw your money at stuff and hope it does well. Don't just watch my videos and assume that everything I say is just fact, okay? You got to educate yourself. You got to know the One Piece TCG, you got to know the One Piece show. Otherwise, you're just not going to understand what characters are better, who's liking what to look forward to. You're just going to be left confused. But guys, I think we've got a long road ahead of us. I think the One Piece TCG is going to do very well for the next little while for sure. I mean, wait until we get newer arcs in here like the Elbaf stuff. Wait until we start getting manga cards of characters we really haven't seen yet. That would just look amazing. And perhaps Bandai starts combining SPs into manga cards. Huh? You heard it here again, folks, for the first time, okay? Making some interesting predictions. So lots of exciting things to come, guys. And, you know, play it safe out there. Be smart with your money. Educate yourself. And subscribe to Treasure Theory, because what else you here for, okay? But anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. I hope this was a nice little bit of hopium for you if you're feeling a little down on the market. A lot of great things to come. But a video should pop on the screen. Be sure to click it, and I will see you over there.